We got some news to get into today, boys. 12.0.7 shit coming in hot and fast. Also, are we gaining more power than ever before? I mean, let me tell you, we are gaining power at an exponential rate. This might be the fastest we've gained power in quite a while, and we're still just like in season 1. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let's just jump straight in here. We got some shit to get into. 12.0.7 release candidate is now in the PTR build. That's right. People, I think, can't necessarily play the PTR yet, but it has been flagged as a release candidate, which means that should be coming soon. Speculation out there on when this release date is, we still don't have it. But we do know that the Turbulent Timeways event, Midsummer Fire Festival, and the new Dark Spear Dash event are all part of this patch. And if we look at the current in-game PTR calendar, we see that June 16th still seems to be the date. I know that recently they pushed back Turbulent Timeways, which was previously starting on the 16th, to the 30th. But given the fact that Midsummer Fire Festival starts the week before that, I think still we're going to get a June 16th release date. That still seems to be the kind of the lock it in and prepare yourself for patch. So that seems to be the time. It also lines up perfectly with the 8 weeks typical that we see of these patches. We would be at the 8th week by the 16th of the current patch. So I think it's lining up perfectly to hit that date. So we'll see. June 16th seems to be the time that we're going to start this patch, which is pretty exciting, actually. Moving on to some 12.0.7 shit, we got some interesting stuff here. If you have a lot of dark particles sitting in your bags, don't delete them, don't throw them away, don't trade them off to some shady vendor in Silvermoon, because they're actually going to be a little bit valuable in 12.0.7. That's right, you'll be able to purchase bulging field pouches. That's right, bulging pouches for all you and your friends. And what these things are going to contain is a lot of the transmog weapons that are currently available in these ritual site events and the avoid assaults. So a lot of these items are just transmoggable weapons, a lot of cool looking transmogs. If you've been wanting to get them, you'll be able to purchase these pouches for specific assault events, right? So if there's a specific look or specific weapon that you wanted to get, you'll be able to get them by using these things. I have a ton of these dark particles sitting in my bags right now. I don't know, we need more personally to spend these on, and I guess Blizzard noticed that and they're allowing us to do this now. So yeah, buying transmog with your dark particles will be a thing in 12.0.7, so continue to hold on to those. Also, we already know this, the spawn of Viranoth mount is absolutely glorious. Probably, I would say maybe the best Timeways mount. Actually, we got the Pirate Infinite Dragon mount, so I can't really say that, but one of the coolest Infinite Timeways events that we've gotten in this event since they've been doing this Master of the Turbulent Timeways achievement. If you don't remember what this is, basically you got to do every week 4 of these Turbulent Timeways dungeons to build up the Mastery of the Timeways buff 4 times over. You got to do 4 runs, build up that thing. Once you've hit 4 for the week in terms of build up, then you've basically finished out that week. Now, typically you had to do this for 5 weeks of the Turbulent Timeways event. Blizzard's actually nerfed it this time around. You only have to do it 4 times. So since Blizzard pushed back the event itself to June 30th, it looks like the Masters of the Turbulent Timeways event this time around is going to last 6 weeks, which means you'll be able to miss 2 weeks of those 6 and still be able to get this achievement done. Now, one good thing is if you totally miss this thing, maybe you're gone, you're on vacation, who knows, you break a nut or something, you can't play for a little while. The good thing is you can always purchase these the next time this event goes live with, what are they called? The badges. Whatever the fuck the badges are called. I can't even remember right now. But Time Warp badges. You can use those to purchase this mount later on if you don't get this achievement. But the good thing is, this time around, hey, it's a little bit easier. You only have to do it 4 times instead of 5. So there you go. That's a good thing for sure. And man, this is a glorious looking mount, honestly. I'm going to have to get this one for sure. Gonna look at more things here. The Midsummer Fire Festival. I've been talking about this. The updated rewards and all the stuff you're going to be able to do in the Midsummer Fire Festival. Blizzard's been updating this event non-stop for 12.0.7, and they haven't really announced anything in terms of, hey, this is a revamp of the festival or whatever, but they continue to drop new stuff. It feels like we're essentially getting a revamp of the Midsummer Fire Festival. If you ever played it, there's a lot of mini games to be had and things like that. So this time around, there's plenty of transmog. One of the most amazing enchants we've seen in quite a while, too. Got a whole video about these enchants dropping. And they've also released some new music. So let's check this out. We got new music for the Midsummer Fire Festival. And Blizzard's just working hard on this event. I don't know what's going on here, but they're investing a lot of time into the Midsummer Fire Festival. And damn, that's some nice music. It gives you that, what is it, like a Renaissance village vibe? This is nice. Yeah, not bad. I mean, the music's always great. Wow, honestly, what else could we expect? So yeah, you can get the vibe here, playing games, little mini games, doing little achievements, and just having a good time. Yeah, fits the WoW vibe for sure. I agree. So excited for the Midsummer Fire Festival. I feel like Blizzard's putting a lot of work into this event. We know there's going to be like a boss to kill and all kinds of other things to do. So yeah, it should be a fun little thing to play through this summer for sure. Also, we got a release of the Rotmire raid music. That's right. So we're getting a new raid in this patch, and we're getting a new boss. And yes, the some pretty good music here too. Fits that Haranir vibe for sure. We'll see how hard this guy is going to be. Ooh. Avatar feels? Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Dude's a unit, yeah. Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a spore unit for sure. Yeah, so excited for kind of what this is going to bring here, what else we could be getting out of this this boss fight. We know Mythic Flex ratings coming. Should be cool, and Blizzard putting in the work. I'm telling you guys, Midsummer, I don't know why Blizzard just hasn't re-announced it. It's like, hey, this is a revamped Midsummer Fire Festival with all the work they've done, but it certainly feels that way, just looking at all the shit they've given us. And then moving on to this. Guys, I'm telling you, the power scaling in Midnight is absolutely insane. This is probably the most powerful we have been ever in a Season 1. I'm willing to put it out there. We've had crazy power scaling before. I mean, looking back at the corruption gear that we had back in the day in end of BFA time. We also had, obviously, with our Legion weapons, right? Our Legion artifact weapons, the power scaling that occurred in that expansion was pretty crazy, especially towards the end with all the artifact power people were gathering. But right now, we're just in a Season 1. We have people pushing 24 plus keys. We have insane raid kills right now. Now, Lura basically is like the gate holding back the flood of players actually just fully, blasting through AOTC constantly right now. But on top of all this power gains that we've had, right, with the Ascendant Void Cores, you have the Void Cores that are giving rerolls for best in slot gear for everybody. Now we're going to get the Omnium Folio. Okay, we've talked a little bit about the Omnium Folio. It's going to be another power gain. Some people have asked, well, what does this mean? When are we going to experience this power? Where are we going to... Basically, any content that has to do with Midnight, you're going to have this buff going around with you, this Omnium Folio buff. Now, this Omnium Folio, it's going to be something that when we first go into 12.7, Magister Umbric or Grand Magister Romath is going to give us a quest, and we're going to go through and unlock this thing. Opening the Omnium Folio will be easy. It'll be a little marker on your mini-map. This is not somewhere we're going to have to go into a room, basically, to access it. And you'll be able to swap in and out talents or whatever selections you want at any time as long as you're not in combat anywhere. So this is going to be a really flexible way to kind of power yourself up and choose your power-ups. Each mote you'll be doing a week-long quest, basically, and every week you'll get another one of these. So yes, it is time-gated, our favorite type of content in WoW. Blizzard loves to do that. But basically, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of time-gated content. It'll take us 5 weeks to fully get this thing out, which means we'll have a couple weeks left in the patch cycle with this Omnium Folio active. Now, this thing is planned to continue through, so we'll continue to hold this power on, at least in the foreseeable future. Now, when it comes to this thing, you'll be picking your orbs, right? Selecting, obviously, there's going to be like some sort of Wowhead article that gives you your best in slot selections based on your class and spec. But right now, there's a lot of these that are kind of core to whatever you're doing. If you're DPS or healing or tanking, there's kind of major selections that are pretty obvious here. Looking at these, the first row here, the first selection, we have the Rune of Void-Touched Orbs or the Rune of Unleashed Fire. For the Void-Touched Orbs, every 10 seconds you attract a Void Orb to you, which goes up to a maximum of 5. Your attacks send these orbs at your enemies, dealing cosmic damage for each. Your healing spells send these orbs to the lowest health ally, restoring their health. This is pretty damn crazy for raiding and group content. And then we have the Rune of Unleashed Fire. Your spells and abilities have a chance to call down a pillar of fire, dealing fire damage and to enemies or cauterizing wounds to nearby allies, restoring their health. So again, we got the damage, and the healing, effects of each of these. We'll see which one ends up being biz. But definitely, you got healing upgrades here and DPS upgrades. I mean, this is all going to buff us in raid. Not to mention, we have that passive raid buff that's now at 7% every week going up. Eventually, that bitch-ass Chandelier Lura is going to become content that people can just do. I also think Blizzard's going to nerf her again for at least the symbols thing. So that way that thing is not just one-shotting pug raids, but for now, I mean, this alone is going to give raids a massive buff on top of the buffs we're already getting. Now let's move on to row 2 here. We have the Rune of Self-Mending. When below 75% health, the core rune also heals you. So a nice little kind of purgatory effect for every class besides Death Knights as well. And then we have the Rune Void Tainted Shell. When struck for more than 10% of your maximum health, you gain an absorption shield that will absorb damage, but 50% of your absorb amount will linger, dealing its damage over 10 seconds. This effect can occur every 30 seconds. A nice little tanking version there. And then we have the Rune of Lynxing-like Reflex. When struck in a combat, increasing your speed for 10 seconds when you get struck in combat, and then it cannot occur more than once every 30 seconds. So you get struck, yeah, you get a little speed boost there. That's nice. For row 3, we have just the one selection here, the Rune of Lingering. The Lingering Rune, the effect of this core rune leaves behind a periodic effect that deals cosmic damage or restores health over 8 seconds based on the health of the target. The target is an enemy or an ally. So you have basically the restore or the damage based on whether you're looking at an enemy or an ally here. And then your core rune favors hitting the targets that are unaffected by the Rune of Lingering, so it can spread this dot more. That's nice. We're at row 4 now. We have 4 different choices here. We have the Rune of Critical Power, the Rune of Burning Haste, the Rune of Masterful Cunning, and the Rune of Versatile Warrior. For Critical Power, the effects of the core rune increase your critical strike rating. For haste, it increases your haste rating. For mastery, it increases your mastery rating. And then for versatile warrior, obviously it's a versatility rating. So picking, I guess, based on whatever class and whatever stat that you personally like to buff out. And then finally here we have row 5. Working on the final row, we have the Rune of the Overlord, the Rune of Residual Energy, or the Rune of Echoes. For the Rune of Overlord, it increases the effectiveness of your core rune ability by 100%. So the core rune is the first row here. Whichever one of these two you've picked, it's going to increase it by 100%, so essentially doubling it out. And then the Rune of Residual Energy, increasing the effectiveness of your Rune of Lingering by 100%. We saw the Rune of Lingering here is in row 3, so if you like this effect, that's going to buff that out. And then finally here, Rune of Echoes. The effect of your core rune, the effects of your core rune leave an echoing curse on your target, affecting after 10 seconds. An echo of all the damage and healing done by your core and lingering runes is repeated at 50% effectiveness. Upon completion of 5 Seeking Knowledge quests, players will receive the Housing to Core item. Okay, so that's a separate thing here. So this is nice. This is a nice little buff here to both. Again, we're probably going to see a Wowhead article that tells us, which is the correct one to pick, which is going to buff you the hardest. And then it looks like on top of all this, yes, there's a decor item that we can get for a Seeking Knowledge quest. After you completed out this whole thing, you'll get a nice little orbital, decor item for all the decor whores out there. Pretty nice. My whole thing about this is a bigger buff than I think we typically get with any of those. Remember the Circe's Annulet Ring or whatever the hell we've gotten, the Titan Belt, some of these buffs that we've recently gotten. This seems like the biggest buff of all. Don't forget, guys, on top of all these buffs that we're getting, which will make raid easier, we currently have a 1%, top 1% achievement going on for Mythic Plus this season. We already have people pushing 24 keys. So how high are these keys going to go? How far are you going to have to go to get to that top 1%? With this buff coming in, surely those keys are going to get pushed even higher. So we're seeing a power scale, I think, in a Season 1 like we've never seen before, as I said earlier. And we'll see what Season 2 looks like. But they're upping the ante for sure. I mean, we're going to be running around like gods by the time The Last Titan comes out, which is maybe the intention. Maybe they want us to be the most powerful we've ever been to fight Titans. Who knows? That kind of makes sense in terms of lore. We'll see where all this goes. Overall, big power scaling in 12.0.7. I'm pretty damn excited for the Midsummer File Festival for sure. And everything else that's coming with 12.0.7, probably on June 16th. And for today, that is all in terms of news.